Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to this quick Python tutorial, and we are going to start with our Jupyter notebook. I will put all the installation and all the basic tutorials in the description, so please make sure to check that out. And after that we'll start from starting the Jupyter notebook. You have to make another directory in which you can make it anywhere, like desktop, inside which you can create a folder which is Python. I just make Python tutorial because obviously this is tutorials. And inside that you can just come over here and make a new Python 3 file and just open it. So it would be written untitled, in which when you click here, and you can just rename it. Okay, so you can just rename it here. So I just put it tutorial 1, and this is the basic what we're going to learn in this very quick tutorial. And I will try to make sure like you will learn everything very perfectly. Okay, so first of all, what are these markdowns? Markdowns are something like we are going to highlight our code with to look it more better and understandable. Now, how to make it? So for that you have to when you initially open the notebook, you have only this single cell all over, and you don't have these things. Okay, I just created it manually, and you can also create it. All you need to do is like go over here, it's written code, you have to come to markdown. So see in here you can see a number like in, and then a square bracket, but now there's nothing. And now here we have the something like I have to write something, so I just put hashtag. It just work like HTML. So like h1, h2, h3, h4, h5, so it all changed the shape. And after that I can just put something like coding fun, and when I run this I just get the markdown. Okay, so are you clear with markdown? Then please make sure to comment and tell me all your progress. Okay, now just change it back to code, and now let me okay, now inside the code these hashtags work as the comments. Okay, so only one single hashtag make it a comment, make anything a comment, so don't get confused with that. So in code it work as comment, in markdown it work as the header size. Okay, now we are going to, let me delete it, and we are now here in the print. Okay, but first of all let me tell you something, like you don't always need to go here and do the markdown thing. You can just simply press escape and M, yeah, ESC button plus M to make it markdown tab, and then you can just write something whatever you want, and instead of running it like that, you can just simply press shift and enter. So I press shift enter and it runs. So let's cut this out and let's start the Python tutorial. So this is all basics of how to make your code more beautiful. I just spent 3 minutes in this, so make sure that your code looks beautiful and it's understandable. So as a tutorial, this thing is full of markdowns, this whole notebook. Now the first thing is the print. What is print? How to make your code print something. So in Python all you need is to just put the print, put these brackets, and print, like I have to print a number like 98, and when I press shift enter, or you can just run it from here, so I prefer to press shift enter, and see we can have our 98 here. So that's the first Python program that we made right now, or you can just say a Python code actually. So this thing here is a 98. 90 is what? It's an integer, right? So talking about integer and all stuff, we have our data types, so inside which we will more clearly understand all the stuff. So first of all, talking about the integers. So to print an integer, we can just simply see from the example, we need to just make that it print, and you can put any number like 65 and just run this, you have 65. Moreover, if you want to print the sum of 3 plus 4 and you run this, you have our 7, right? So that's the power of Python. You can just perform the mathematical operations and the print. So it's not actually a very special thing, but yeah, that's very easy. If I want to print, so let me tell you some cool operations that you can perform Python. Like if I say that what is the remainder when we divide 5 by 2, so this thing, this %sign, this mod operator will help you to get that. If I want to get the value of print 5 divided by 2, then see it give me a float value. Okay, that's our next data type, but see this is a float value like 2.5. okay, if I say what if I want the quotient only, so the quotient, that is the integer value of this division is 2, so I just use 2 forward slashes. Next data type is float. So in float you can have decimals, so it is also as simple as the print, like if I say 25.278 something like that, and if I run this it completely works. Similarly all the things will go just like that, but in character we have something changes. So if I say I want to print a character A, so let me tell you, that's a spoiler, that this is going to give an error. Okay, so it takes A as a variable. Okay, so this is not an integer, this is not a character. So what we'll do to make it a character, just simply put slashes here, no sorry, actually quotes. So this quote will just simply give us the character. Talking about more, if I say print A plus B, what would be the output? The output is simply AB. So this is part of string concatenation, which we'll learn inside the string, but just for example I just show it. There are more things we can do with characters, like if I want to print any character A with 1, then it will give me an error, because we cannot concatenate, that is add a string or just a character with an integer. Okay, so you have to keep it in mind. Okay, what if I want to put like A1, that is like if I get AB and I want something like A1, then I have to make 1 as an string. So now this 1 will work as a string. So when I run this, I just get it. Talking about conditions, just like other programming languages or in real life, we have our 2 conditions basically, if and else. But here's another condition, like if else, like if else if. It's getting confusing, I will tell you in a second. So let me say, like we have our now variables. Let's take the concept of variables. So actually I will tell you about variables here. So talking about variables are just like the containers that stores the values, right? So these are the values, like I make a variable named A and I store a value of 12, and when I print A, so it will give me 12. What if I print A? Then you can clearly understand what I want to tell you. So these quotes make this thing a string and print is as it is, but this thing will go to search the value of A and say, okay, A have the value of 12, then just print it. Let's see what is the, actually make a new here and just say I want to print what is the type of A. So now here say, so if I say what is the type of A, so this type function will tell us what is the type of A. And I also want to see that like what is the print type of this A. Okay, so see, this is integer, this is string. Okay, let me tell you, like in Python we don't have something like characters. Okay, so this character is a string actually, so it is a single length string. So but yeah, we can call it as character, but here we can just treat it as a string. Okay, so you don't have to be confused if you are a C learner. So these are some just basics of variables, like we can store anything here. If I want to store any string, like for example I just take A as coding fun and I print A, then what should be the output? Because here A is 12, so that's the Python power. So here A is an integer actually, right? And we don't need to declare that this A is an integer, right? So that's the power of Python. It just detects like what you want to store, and it just determines it by itself, like what is the A. So here we in this code we never just tell Python that this 12 is an integer, it just guesses by itself. So here if I say print coding fun, then see we just didn't replace this 12 value with coding fun, we actually just changed the data type of A as well, and that's the Python power. So when I run this, I just simply get the coding fun. So I hope you are clear with these concepts. We are already 10 minutes. We are already learning this from 10 minutes. So I hope you get some very cool things about the Python. Now talking about the conditions, let's say if I have an integer a, again we are taking a, let's see another x as 12 and y as 21, and if I want to say like is x greater or y greater, so I'll say that if I'll make it another cool way. See, if I say if x is divisible by 3, now how we can get it? So I will say that if the if x percent 3 equals 0, that means like when we divide x by 3 we didn't get any remainder. That's all it means. So we can say that print x is divisible by 3. Okay, so let's see if it works. Yeah, x is divisible by 3 actually, because 12 is divisible by 3, so this works. Okay, while writing this I just get another thing in my mind that I think you should guys know. So I'll say like, what if I want to print the value of x here, right? I just didn't want to say that x is divisible by 3 actually. I have to say that the x and this value 12, so 12 is divisible by 3. So then how would I just say by using this x? So see, if I want to use that, I will just say in quotes, I will use these special brackets and I just say is divisible by 3, and I just put down here dot format x. I should put it as dot. So now see, this thing work as a, this is a container which stores something which we get from here. So I just say format the value of x here, so it will go before go in throughout the whole program, and we'll see okay, x value is 12, so it will just give us the 12 value here, which will go there and print the value of 12. So this is something like if you want to use it, so dot format method is here. So while talking about conditions, let's say if I have, now if I say like if x is greater than y, so these greater than, smaller than operations all are same, just like we did in real life. So if I say if x greater than y, then print actually let's use the thing which we learned, dash is greater than, and I just say dot format x comma y, so it will go in the order that it says. So this thing is first, so it will go to the first value, this is second, so it will go to the second, from left to right. Okay, keep in mind. So I will just copy it because in all case this will happen, but the values will be changed. So if I say else if, that means means that if this thing, else if x is not greater than y, but, so it then simply means it just means else if, which we call it is elif. So if I say else if x is less than y, then we are going to print the whole same thing, but we will replace y with x, because here simply y is greater than x. And else, like when both the conditions are wrong, we simply print both are equal. Well, in this case you simply know the answer. What is the answer? We'll go to the second case because x is smaller than y. So see, 21 is greater than 12. That's what we want to say here. So I hope you're clear with the conditions, and when we do the competitive programming part in future tutorials, you will get it more and more clear. You'd be the master in that, I guarantee. Okay, now talking about the loops, we have for loop, we have while loop. That's it. We don't have any do while loop because it is just simply same as while loop, so that's why Python developers don't want to use that, and actually it's not in Python as well. Now talking about for loop, so before learning about for loop, we should remember, like in any language, we have to make the for loop, we should have any variable. So I just say that for, and I have any variable like say x, and we will make it like if you learn C program, then we just say that for x equal to 0, x less than like 30, x plus plus, something like that, right? So in this, so if you know C programming, in case like if you don't know it, then completely fine, I will explain you. So in this we just say for x in range. So this both these things are same, but actually, so see, actually the concept of for loop is like you have an iterable value, okay? So the value which just keep on changing throughout the whole loop. So that thing is here is x, and we initialize it like the value initially of x is 0, and the final value would be less than x, that is 29. We'll go x up to 29, and then x will increment by 1. So in Python, so let's just remove it. So in Python we just use say for x in range, and I say like it will go from 0 to 30. Print x. Now range function is something like which give us the values from 0 to 30, but it will include the first argument here but not the last, okay? So whatever we are going to get is we will get for x from 0 to 29, not the 30, okay? So if you want to get the 30, you have to keep it here one more, like 31. So if we do this, let's see, we are going to get the value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 29, but not the 30, because remember this will include this thing but not the second thing, okay? So that's the loop. Actually just make this value smaller, it's taking a lot of space. Yeah, now it's cool. Now talking about while loop, okay? So let me take another variable like x equal to 12 and y is equal to 3, okay? And I'll say while a is greater than y, print y, and y is equal to y plus 1. Okay, now remember one thing, when I show you the C code for this for loop, we have our x plus plus thing, like which says that after end of each loop, each epoch of the loop, you have to increment the value of x by 1. X plus plus means 1. But in Python, if we didn't specify like x plus equals something like that, so it automatically increase x by 1, so we don't have to worry about that, okay? But in while loop, also in C and in any programming language, we have to specify like how this value is changing. So initially the value of a is 12 and y is 3, so it will check like if while a is greater than y. So we are going to say that okay, remember again that this a12 is equal, this will change, this will replace this whole value, okay? You don't have to worry about the data types and all this stuff. So now a is 12, and now let's see what would be the output. So okay, so initially y is 3, and it will say that like 12 is it greater than 3? Yes. Then we will print the y, which is 3. Then it will increment the y is equal to y plus 1. So now inside y we are going to put the current value of y plus 1. That means 3 plus 1, 4. So now y have a value of 4. So that's what we are doing here. Okay, now one more thing, like if you want to make your code look more professional, actually not professional, but like we can also do this thing, okay? So this will also work. So y equal plus 1 means the same thing, okay? Actually it's plus equal 1. Whoops. Yeah, so plus equal 1 mean like we are going to increment y we are going to add y by this value. Okay, now talking about data structures now. Now, what are the data structures? Like we learn about the data types here, like float, character, integer, all the stuff. To store all these values, we use the data structures. Okay, so in Python we have list, string, tuples, and dictionaries. So talking about list, let's jump into list, and yeah, we're going to learn about the print statement again, and that would be really awesome because that's something like which I've learned and I've discovered from my competitive programming experience and all the other stuff where I just go throughout the whole web and watch the values. Okay, now so list here, list, what is list? Let me tell you. So list is a data structure which is used to hold multiple data types at the same time. Okay, so if I say my list is equal to, let's say I have value 1, 2, 3. Okay, and if I'm going to print my list, it will show me the value of my list. So see, the basic syntax of a list is this square bracket. Yeah, one more thing I just forgot. I just completely forgot about that. Yes, like yeah, this is the syntax of loops and this is the syntax of conditions. Okay, so it is very simple actually. One more thing, the most important thing, the most important thing is the syntax. Actually, the syntax in Python is very easy. It is just you can just see. But if I say like if we are going to use the conditions, then the syntax is this. Now, what does this indentation means? Actually, this blank spaces, it is 4 blank spaces, or you can say a tab. So if I just go here and I just press tab, then see you can be in the same level. Or now, what does this means? Like if x is less than 3, then below the statement, after the then below the below statement after this colon, full colon, I will tell you actually. Okay, say if I say print x% equal to 3. Okay, let me put some more things. Coding fun. Print fun coding. Okay, now see, this print value is breaking this indentation format, right? So what I want to tell you, like after this colon, whatever lies inside this range, I mean inside this indentation range, it is all part of this if statement. Okay, so if this statement is true, then these things will run for sure firstly, then this thing will run, sorry. Okay, now let me make this thing wrong actually. So if I say x equal to 11 now, and y is equal to, don't need any y here. So if I say x equal to 11 and x% 3 is 0 now, so x% 3 will be 0, no. So see, it will just print fun coding because this is outside this if loop. Okay, so if statement includes these two statements but not this one. If I do say 12, then can you guess the output? Yeah, it will print all the 3 statements because this is correct now. So these 2 statements will run for sure, and after this we just get out of this if statement and we say okay, we have another more print option which is fun coding, so it will just print the fun coding. So this is some basic which I just completely forgot, which is very important actually. Okay, now we are at the my list. Now we just simply override this, and now we have like the power of list is it can store multiple data types at the same time. Okay, okay, here we go. See, you can see that we have a integer, another integer, then a float, then a string, another string. So we store 3 data types inside a same data structure, right? So isn't that cool? Actually, it is cool. So if I say print my list, whoops, okay, I just put, Okay, I have to make it like 2.54. No, it's good. So see, we have 12.34. Actually, make it as, now it's good. So we have an integer, a float, and a string value all at the same time in a same variable, which is very useful in future coding parts, and also which is very great to see the power of Python. Okay. Now the main thing is here is how we can. So it is similar to arrays actually. If you learn about the C programming language, then it is very similar to array. Okay, why I'm always talking about C? Because C is the basic, C is the most basic language that everyone actually, yeah, probably everyone learn about that. Okay, that's fine. Now when I say how I can iterate to each element of this string, so it is similar to another language. So I say for I in range. Okay, this is a future part. First talk about some my list operations, like the operations in list. So the first operation we are going to learn, like this is the very actually first operation. We just simply print the list and we just get our output. Another thing is like we have our my list. What if I want to see the length? Then I will just simply say len of my list. Okay, so it will say my list has a length of 4. Another thing which my list is have, like if I want to add a value to the my list, so I could just say my list dot append. Let's say we are going to append another value, like which is 89, and now I say that what my list is. So see, we have our 89 appended at this value, right? Okay, what if I don't want to append it at the last? Okay, actually this the as I earlier told that list is same as stack. Okay, so what if I say that I don't want to add this value at the last, I want to add it anywhere else. So for that I will tell you a very small trick about the Jupyter Notebook. So if you have any function and if you want to know about what more parameters that it can take, you can just simply go inside this square bracket of that function and just press shift tab. So see, you can see the values. So my list dot append will take an object which is the value, and this is slash. So append object to the end of the list. So it will tell everything about this thing. Okay, if I say comma 2, okay, actually that's not correct, sorry. Yeah, so okay, now see this thing again. I just earlier run the program and my list has been already added value. When I run this again, it again added a value. Okay, now actually that's a great thing because now I say I want this 189 out of it. Okay, which is actually the last element. So I will simply say that my list dot pop. So actually this dot pop operation will take out this last value out of the list and it will return that last value. So if I say another that a variable var is storing this value, and now I print the value of var and print the value of my list. Now see, that's the thing. I just say that okay, the pop operation just pulls out this last value and it will store it or it will return it actually. So we just store the returned value inside the var variable, and now we can see that my list has been upgraded again. Okay, pop operation actually also, if I say, let's say if I want to pop, actually we have to pick out this fun from the code from this my list. So I will say that my list dot pop, and I will pass in the index of this value. Okay, in Python the indexing of values will be starting from 0, 1, 2, 3. So if I say 3 value, see, it returns the value fun. Now if I say like what is my list now, see, it just pull out the value fun. So pop value actually takes an integer, takes an value 3. So now we talk about the list indexing. So just to get more deeper into that, let's make a list again, which I just say capital A is a list which is valuing only 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so it is having 7 values. Now what if actually let me just remove it from here. Yeah, so we have this 7. Now when all the values in this list are integers, then we can simply use sorted A, sort the list. So in case it is already sorted, let's make it unsorted and 0. So see, now the sorted A is the value of A sorted. Now what if I print A? So see, the sorted A just gives the, actually I should use the print to get more clear. Okay, now see, this sorted A will give us this thing. One thing you noticed here, which I am hiding from you guys from a long time, is like I didn't use the print earlier, but it worked the same. Again, I didn't use the print here, but it just gave me the value of A. What's the issue? Actually, when I use print A, it gives me the thing which I want. But when I say A, so in Jupyter by default, if there's not any another print statement below this, then it will simply say that okay, you want the value of A, that means you want the value of A. So it will, now you can just notice like here when we use print, there is nothing written over here, but here it is written out 41, which is output of the cell 41. So you have to keep in mind, you can simply, so in most of the time, like here, if I didn't use print in this last statement because there's no any another print statement below this, then it is completely fine. So actually the last statement which I want to print, and below which not only any print statement but anything below which, if there is nothing below the last thing, then it will print that value if it exists, otherwise you will get an error. So we talk about the sorted, we talk about push, pop. Now let's see another things in the list. Actually we have a lot of things in list. Okay, now what if I want to find the value of this 3? Okay, I mean I want to find the value of this, the index of this 3. So I will say that a dot index 3. So see, a is at index 3, so 2, so 0 1 2, which is completely fine. So we can find the index manually from the functions as well. Okay, so you have to keep it in mind actually. Now another thing which is very cool about list is we can use the indexing of any list. Okay, that means if I want to put a particular part of a list, like say if I want to get this 305 from this whole list above, then how will I get this? I will say that I want to get the list from index 2 3 4. So I will say index 2 2 4. If I do 4, then it will be wrong, it will be 5, just like the range function. It will include the first thing, but it will not include the last thing. And guys, now I'm not going to use the print statement again and again, so you can just see I didn't use any print because there is no any statement below this in the same tab, in the same cell. Okay, so you can simply use that. So here we go. So if I say 2 5, so it will give us the value from 2 3 and 4, not the 5. So the index value at 2 is 3, then 4 is 3 is 0, and then 4 is 5. If I want to include the 5, then I have to make it 6 over here. So now it works. Okay, now I think everything is clear to you now. So these things are very, now what I want to tell you, some cool things about print. Okay, one more a very cool thing I told you about the print statement is actually I didn't tell you I didn't tell you that yet. So let's say I will tell you some very cool thing about the print statement. Like if I want to print A, so we have a particular values. Like if I say print A, then we'll get this. Another value is like simple iteration. I will say for I in range length of A, print a of I. Okay, so this thing will give me the statement this format. Another thing is for I in A, print A. This will also print I actually. Sorry for that. Okay, now let me tell you these things because we didn't do this kind of stuff from loops right now. Okay, I tell you that the range function will take value from this start to the end, right? But it didn't include the end, so it will go from start to end minus 1 values. If I pass a single value to this, so if I say a value of range 0, actually 5, then actually by default it would be range 0 to 5. So by default the first start element here is 0, okay, and the last element is the input, single input, that which we give here. So here the length of A would be this input, okay, 5, and the initial value is 0. So the value will go from 0 to length of A, but it didn't include the length of A value, okay. So what I want to say, like delete all this, and I will say that length of A. What is the length of A? The length of A is 7, right? So the I will go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but not the 7, okay. So this range len would be similar to range 0 to len of 7, len of A, that means 7. So both of these two values are same, and then we print A of I, and that means A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, and all this stuff. What if I didn't want to do it by index? Then I will simply use this for I in A. So we have our A like that, so I will go each value by value. So in each when the loop runs, so after each iteration the value of I just get upgraded. So initially the I value is 1, then it will go to 8, then 3, then 4, and so on. So that's what we get. What if I don't want to get all the values in the different line, because actually this kind of output looks very dull. What if I want to just get all the values just by space, right? So for that I will use an end is equal to space. Now see, it looks very beautiful, right? So that's a very great thing about the print statement. What if I don't even want to use the for loop to print each value of each value of A? So I will just say print star A. This is a very great trick to print all the elements of a list in space separated values, okay? So you have to keep it in mind. Talking about strings, actually the video is getting very long. I didn't expect that much time. Talking about strings are just simply the words, or we can just say they are simply the combinations of characters, right? So if we just say that we have an string named coding fun, okay. So coding fun string is okay. Before that, I just really apologize. I just forgot one great thing to tell you about the loops. So where is the append operation? Here it is. Actually, it's not a very important thing, so you can just skip the tutorial from this tab, but actually it's great to tell you. Like if I have a list 1 to 4, and I want to add another value 3 to this whole list, then see this value 3 is just get attached to this, but we have to pass this 3 as a list. We didn't pass it as an integer or as a string, anything, because that will give an error, because you can't add any string or integer to a list. You can add a list to a list, okay. So actually that's so this mylist.append89 value is actually doing mylist is equal to mylist plus the value it have in the list value. To be more precise, we can just use my list plus equals 89. Okay, so that's the my dot append value does. So that's just simply one thing which I would like you guys to share with. Okay, now if I say string is a coding fun and I just print a string, or I could just say string. So string is equivalent, kind of equivalent with print string. So we have the coding fun here, right? Yeah, guys, from coding fun, I just remember, if you are watching till now and didn't hit the like button and subscribe button, then please did it, guys. Please, please, please. That's so much needed for me. And make sure to comment, because I should also know that how I can improve my teaching. Okay. Now, when I have the coding fun here, string. So in a string, we can also do a lot of operations. Okay. From which one we see earlier, which is the concatenation. So if I just say that print coding plus fun, then guess what is the output? Okay, it will I will tell you that it will give us the output of coding fun altogether. Okay, so there is no any spaces. So if I want a space here, then I could just simply press a space here, then I will get fun. Or else we can use a space here, we can get the same output. Okay, great. So now this thing, we have our coding fun. So that's the string concatenation, which is also very useful when you're going to do very kind of great, amazing projects. Then you will see these kind of stuff, in which we are going to assign the operating system when we use the OS module. That is part of very future. But now that's the string thing. In the string, we also have some operations, which I just didn't remember all the methods at the same time. Okay, now remember one thing. I'm talking about the word method. I talked about the word object-oriented programming, class. We will learn all of these things later. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. So method is simply just a function. So string functions, or you can say string methods. I just didn't remember all the stuff at the same time. But when we need any use, we can just search the web, or we can simply, if I remember it, then I will simply tell you. So we have a string print coding fun, then it will just give me the coding fun value. So now we just talk about some methods of string. So first method of the string is the length, which is simpler, which is simply similar to list. Okay. See, so the coding fun has the length of 9, but when you're going to calculate the value of coding fun, you can see there are only 9 characters here, but it count the space as well. Okay, so this space will count it as 1, so we will get the output as 10. Okay. Okay, now there similarly like string list, we can simply these values in a string is also indexed. Okay, so the value of index 0 is C, 1 is 0. So if I just say, hey, I just want the value of 1, I mean the value which is at index 1, we can simply get O, because this value is at index O. Okay, so in a similar way, you can simply get the value of this index value. Actually, where it is, yeah, just like that, the index of this. Okay, so here is a homework for you guys. You have to write a comment if someone is watching this video. I wish someone watches it till here. So I have a mail variable, which is an email, which I'll write an email as abcdef @gmail.com. Now I want you guys to print out the things which are after @, but you have to keep it in mind that you have to use this method, this index method. Okay, so I will print the first the thing which are before the @, that is the mail ID or username. So I will just say from 0, or if I didn't put anything here, so it will automatically be default as 0, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will say 6, because it didn't include the last value, so we just get these index values. Okay, one more important thing of string is we can simply, I just say that mail dot split at the rate at the rate. See, this thing is actually very cool and we are going to use a lot. Okay, we are going to use a lot. So this split method actually find the value which is passed as the parameter to it, and it will break down the string into a list with the values before and after that split value. Okay, if I didn't put any split value here, so if I say that we have our z is equal to coding fun, and if I just say that z dot split, and if I didn't pass any parameter, then it will automatically say, okay, where you find the space, it will just break, it will just split. Okay, now talking about here, I just already think like when we learn the string, we will learn one more thing. So we've been printing the values from almost 46 minutes. Okay, now let's take user from input, input from user. Sorry, oh my god. Okay, so if I say that I have a variable w which has an input what is your age. Actually, let's first ask about the name. Then we have, so just put it as name variable. Then we have age. Input, what is your age? Then we'll print name comma age, and we'll use a sep which is used to separate the printing. Okay, I will tell you in a while. So here we go. So now we are going to take the user input as name and age. Okay, let me just cut it. Okay, so here we are going to take an input from the user, and it will ask that when I run this. So input is a function which is used to take the input from user, and I'll say what is your name. So I'll say, okay, my name is Rishabh. I'll press enter, and it will ask my age. So I will press 21 here. Now this Rishabh, this name is going to store in this name variable, and this 21 is going to store in this age variable. So now when I print name and age, so it will just print me this. Okay, one more thing I want to tell you about the print operation is like if I want to print these name and age just like that, but if I want to put something like something in between these values, so I will use a sep, which I say that, okay, put 3 dashes between name and age. So see what it did. Okay, so now print name, age, sep, and separation would be 3 dashes. Okay, but now can you tell me that what is the type of this name variable and what is the type of this age variable? It's not a very big thing. Most of the Python students know that, but since we are starting from very zero level, so we will talk about this as well. So if I say that what is the type of name, so it will give me, yeah, it's a type of string, because Rishabh, this name here, it is a string. We can clearly see this. What about 21, this age? Can you tell me what is the type of this age? Actually, by so far what you learned, you will see that, yeah, that would be an integer, so it will print an int, but we have a string. Now what is the issue here, huh? Actually, when you use the input, okay, so whatever you pass, whatever value the user give it, this input method will take it as a string. Okay, so that's a hard rule, you have to keep it in mind. If you want to take it as an integer value, then you have to typecast it. So we are going to change the type of this. So now if I just say, okay, my name is Rishabh, and my age is 21. Then I print this, and now the age is an integer. Okay, so that's the thing which I want to tell you. So the input function will always take the input as a string. You have to keep it in mind. Okay, for example, if for example I will tell you that where it will give you some problem, like inside a loop, inside a for loop, I just put it like for I in range a, which a is an input user, then that would create a problem actually, because input user is it would be a string value, but in range you can't put a string value, so that will give us an error. Okay, so you have to typecast it to as int. Now actually I think this much of thing is enough for this lecture. We'll talk about tuples and dictionaries in the very next lecture. Actually tuple is very simple and small. So tuple is actually as same as the list. Okay, it can store multiple data types at the same time and all this stuff. Okay, so tuple is actually as same as list, but tuple cannot be upgraded. Okay, so you cannot change the values of a tuple, you cannot add a value to a tuple, you cannot delete a value to a tuple. Okay, so the whatever the values inside the tuple, they are always same. Okay, so tuple can be used like in very to make like something very some code which shouldn't be changed by anyone. Okay, so that's what you can do. So tuple is as same as list, but it cannot be upgraded. And we talk about the dictionaries in the last lecture. So guys, if you just made up to here, you are just a great. You should be proud of yourself, because to be honest, if I would be watching this video, I will obviously either forget to watch the whole video or just sleep down. So if you like this, then shower your love for Python in the comment section, and also tell me that how is my teaching. Thank you so much for watching till now. Please subscribe the channel, please like the video, and if you want to share it to your friends, then please do me the favor. Thank you so much guys. See you in the next tutorial where we talk about the tuples a little bit. There's not a lot of things in tuples, because you can see there's no any upgradation allowed in the tuple. So already the number of methods are very less, and dictionaries is actually very interesting. So we'll talk about that as well. Okay, thank you for watching guys. See you.